Thank you for joining us to this edition of Coach's Corner. My name is George Webb. I'm president of the Dover-Sherburne Gridiron Association, and I'm here with Steve Ryan, who's head coach of the Dover-Sherburne Raiders. So we're here, Steve. We just came off a game with Medway, so I thought maybe we could just start off and do a quick recap.
Sure. They came out and were very physical. It was definitely a game of good hitting. And back and forth, very emotional game. They scored 33 points. We ended up scoring 40. It was, very exciting in that way. The things, we adapted to, we were able to take what they gave us. Garrett, our quarterback, did a great job dumping the ball down into the flats where, they were worried about our ability to get deep, so they gave us the short passes, and, we threw a lot of those. And, as a matter of fact, Chris Kiesling had 10 receptions for 160 yards. And he kept on running that little quick out. And that's, it's a testament to Garrett and Chris to recognize that, but also to our offensive line to give us time to be able to do that. Defensively, they were hitting, like I said, and they blitzed, and we were able to pick those things up on offense. Medway, did the stuff we expected them to do, and to an extent were able to move the ball on us. But I think especially in the second half we buckled down and made enough plays to survive.
Yeah, this was a shootout. This was 70 points scored. It's it's a fun, every once in a while it's fun to get a shootout. Now we're sitting at 2-3, and we were joking. We said, we've never been so happy to be 2-3 with all the injuries that we have. But we're standing now 1-1, right, in the league, and that's the most important thing. And so this week coming up, we have Millis. So I don't know. We've scouted Millis, and do you have any thoughts on the game we have coming up on Friday night?
Yeah, Millis is young but very energetic, and again, some kids who want to go out there and just hit. They'll be ready for us. I promise you, they're a well-coached team. Always, an excitable team. Should be a little bit chippy. Usually, we expect that with games against Millis. So, we have to be ready for everything. They offensively, they throw a few trick plays at you every game. So we have to be ready for that when we're on defense, and when we're on offense, we know they're going to blitz, they're going to come after us, and we're just going to be ready to pick that up.
Yep, and this is an important game for us. If we can have success on Friday night, we get to 3-3, and we're one game at a time, one snap at a time. But if you look a little bit further down the road, the schedule gets a little bit harder because we get some teams that are getting hot.
Yeah, but we saw that last week. Dedham lost to Bellingham. And that was, I guess, a little bit of a surprise to us because now we have Millis coming up this week, then Norton, and we finish with Bellingham. So definitely some tough teams ahead. Norton
5-0, right?
Yes.
And then Bellingham, always tough. What are they now? Are they 2-3 or 3-2?
So I believe they are 1-4, but they dealt with a few kids not being able to play at the beginning of the year, so they're just starting to play a little bit better.
Okay, good. So this is going to be nobody's run the table yet, with the exception of Norton, and for us to be competitive, we got to find a way to get past Millis on Friday night. What time's the game? I'm not going to guess this time.
6:30.
I was going to say 6:30 on Friday night at Millis. I think it was one of the original teams to have lights, right, in the TVL.
One of the last teams to have a grass field, that's for sure.
Oh, that's interesting. That's right. They get the grass field as well. So talking about our team, the guys, really nice win. The bus ride home was pretty fun last week, right?
Yeah, I think that's something they'll remember forever, and that's just a product of such an emotional game coming out of there on the right side with a W. The excitement the kids showed on that bus ride home, it was really exciting, and I'm so happy for them. I think they'll remember it for a long time.
That was fun. And so when we think about the guys coming in, the team, we're last year we were very healthy and went pretty deep into the playoffs. This year we haven't been as fortunate. So I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit, and we continue to get banged up a little more as we go.
Sure. Our injuries are certainly to some of our critical players. Brian Olson is out right now. He'll be out at least another 2 weeks and most likely the season. They're going to reevaluate after another 2 weeks. Emilio has been out the whole season. We're hoping to get him back in 2 to 3 weeks if we're lucky. Harry Dummer is out for the season, and we can't get him back. And all those guys, are two-way players, and you can't really make up for that. We just lost this last week. John O'Lear got out in the first quarter of last week's game against Medway. He's another two-way player, and he won't be back this week. But so it's just opportunities for guys to step up and fill those holes and make a name for themselves.
So let's talk about the younger guys. They were a little slower at because all those 5 guys we talked about, those are our senior two-way players. So there's a lot of opportunity in a smaller team for the younger guys to get some varsity play time. So who are some of the younger guys, and are you seeing any progress and any development in those guys?
Yeah, well, it's been a developmental thing. They're not necessarily younger, but somewhat less experienced. Both John and Bobby Saber are both getting a lot of time. Vince Stefanelli is getting a lot of time. He's starting both ways for us this week, and he's a first-year player as a senior. So, we have Tyler Huang. He's on all of our special teams now, and he's doing all our kicking, and we're trying to get him out there on the offense and the defense as well. Kids like Ross Lipsky, he's primarily was a baseball player up until about 3 weeks ago, decided he wanted to play football. He came out and, he's going to make a contribution as well.
Good. Anything, morale-wise, the guys were happy after the Medway game. We've been at this for a while, 2-3. Kind of where's the team's head at right now?
Yeah, there's definitely an eagerness to get even right here, right? To get back to 3-3 and to set ourselves up to at least be in the hunt for the Tri-Valley League title again. So I think, we try to take it one game at a time, but we know this game has a lot of impact on our future.
So any final thoughts you have for the viewers? We're doing a short one over here, but any final thoughts for folks before Friday night?
Sure. The thing I'd say is last week we kind of changed up our practice schedule, and this week as well, that we're hitting a lot more during practice. We tried not to for the first few weeks just because we have such small numbers. I think we'll dress 29, maybe 28 this Friday night. So the numbers are down, and you worry about getting kids hurt. But we've noticed that when we hit in practice, we hit a lot better during the games.
Isn't that interesting? If you can't do it in practice, you can't do it in the game, is what we always say. But if you have a good week of practice, it usually shows up at game time, doesn't it? It does.
It translates so much. It's so important to have those good weeks of practice.
As a coach, and you've been doing this for a long time now, why do you think it modulates? Because you don't always get a good week of practice. What do you think the difference is with the kids to get them up and focused?
The thing that I've noticed that works is the more we are physical during the week, the more we're physical at the end. So, there are some practices that are designed to keep kids healthy or condition kids, but there are other practices that are just designed to let's get after it, bang into each other, and work our techniques as far as being physical. So I've noticed that when we are physical during the week, we play more physical on the weekend.
And this is a pretty physical team. And in some ways, they aren't as big as maybe some of the teams we've had in the last couple of years. But these guys, even when they're down, they're out there, they're having fun playing ball, and they're hitting. So it's a pretty physical group in general.
Yeah, we expect that from Millis all the time. Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you again for joining us for Coach's Corner. My name is George Webb. If you have questions, we'd love to hear from you. And Dover Sherburne TV will put the email address down on the screen over here. Send us your questions in. We'll be sure to ask Coach. And maybe next week, Steve, we can grab a couple of the guys and start interviewing some of the players. We haven't done as much of that this year as we have done in years past, but we'll try to get that woven in. We'd also like to thank all the sponsors we had for the Dover-Sherburne Raiders football program this year. I think we had our best ever turnout and support, and we'd like to thank everybody for advertising that program. And like I said, for those that did advertise, these kids hold on to them and they hang around the homes for a long period of time. I still have mine from 1987 when I went to high school here, and the guys are advertising there. But that advertising revenue helps us subsidize the football program and pay for 4 additional coaches this year for the coaching staff, and that's significant to have a really good turnout and all the resources for the team to be able to be competitive. So we look forward to seeing everybody on Friday night at 6 p.m. at Millis, and let's cheer on our Raiders and see if we can get to 3-3, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks again for joining us, and look forward to seeing you next week.